What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Bird's Eye View. I'm your host, the one and only Erica McCall, because my last name is McCall. And we're back again with another episode, y'all. For those who do not know who I am a fifth-year pro, currently a free agent, back at home in Bakersfield, doing my thing, working out, hanging out with fam. So it's been an absolute blessing to be here. I played overseas for 5 seasons, 4 years in Hungary, 1 year in Turkey, and just announced last episode that I'll be playing in Salamanca, in Spain, playing Avenida, a EuroLeague team, y'all. It's always been my dream to play in EuroLeague, play in Spain, and I'm super hyped for year 6, so it's going to be freaking dope. Speaking of six, we'll get back to that a little later. Why I'm saying 6, why the number 6 is so important. But the reason for starting this podcast, I want to hear. I'm here to educate y'all, on the overseas life that we live, the professional life that we live, really just all encompassing of what we have to do to be a professional women's basketball player. There's a lot of highs and lows that come with it. And I'm here to just share the stories, bring some of my friends along to help them share their stories. And we're just going to have a lot of fun along the way. So each episode we break down, a different element, either the overseas game, professional game, or like this season I'm just bringing on some of my friends. We're just going to chat and talk about their careers and what they've gone through from college all the way up to where they are in the pros. And today's guest is no other than the one and only my six. We call each other six because we used to be in a group called Six.
It's
the one and only Ty Harris, y'all. Welcome to the show, Ty.
Oh, thanks, Birdie, for having me. I'm glad that we could, chop it up for a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was super excited to get Ty. I've been wanting to have her on since last season. I wanted to get her, when she was wrapping up her rookie season and get her thoughts on that. But she's a busy woman, a busy and highly popular woman. I was like, yo, the girlies love Ty on Twitter, on Instagram. Shout out to Muffin. Muffin is one of your biggest fans.
The super fan. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ever have my back.
Always. She goes hard for Ty. I've never met anyone that goes harder for a player, on this earth than Muffin. And that's Muffin with an I-N, not Muffet with an
Right.
E-T.
Okay.
Get it right. Well, Ty, welcome to the show. Once again, thank you for coming on. I want to hype you up real quick. I got to read your bio to the people just to let the people know that I get big dogs on my show. We ain't just some little show. I get the big dogs.
Okay.
Let me hype you up. So Ty was the 7th overall draft pick by the Dallas Wings in 2020. Her rookie season, she had one of the best turnover to assist ratios amongst all rookies, and the lowest turnover per possession rate. That's freaking dope. If you guys know about basketball, that means she's just efficient and she's a really good point guard. That's what the heck it means. This one, it's really big. This known fact is really big because you're my first national champion on my show, but I'm a little hurt because you guys beat us to get that championship in the Final Four. She's a national champion in 2017 with the South Carolina Gamecocks. Y'all, they beat us in the Final Four to get to that championship game, and they went on to beat Tierra McCown's team. She played for Mississippi State. Yep. Played Mississippi State. They went on to win. Shout out to y'all. That was your first ever championship. So I've got an amazing guest. First national champion on the pod. And when she played at South Carolina, she was ranked first in the SEC with 702 career assists while playing at South Carolina. I mean, that's a lot of assists. That's a lot of dimes.
I mean, I had a lot of great players around me. It was easy to do that one.
She's so modest, though. So modest. We'll get to your players in a second. I'll ask that question in a second. And then, of course, y'all, we like to talk about overseas because it's the all-encompassing podcast. She's played in Turkey and in Russia, and we, too, will get a little bit, she's making a face, we'll get into a little bit of that. But before we get into the interview, Ty, we have a game I like to play with all my guests. This one's called Fast Faves Again. I just love this title, and I love the questions that I ask in this featuring game. So first question, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Favorite Dawn Staley moment or words of advice?
Ooh, she had a lot of nuggets that she used to call it that we took from her. But favorite memory, probably after seeing her win that national championship. It probably just because like she's very highly decorated, you know, a great coach, great player. She had all the accolades besides winning national championship. And even as a player, she went to I think 3 years, 4 years, and lost every time. But she's like the only player to lose in a national championship game and win MVP. Like, how you win an MVP and you lost? Like, you're supposed to go to the winning team, right? I've never heard of that one before. So
That's
like,
tough.
had all the accolades, but just not a ring. And finally see her get that was like a great feeling. Because one, I was a rookie. That was like my first. And I mean, their piece, like their selling point to me was like, you're the missing piece of our puzzle. So when I came there working and got it, it was like, yeah, like this is it. This is a true feeling. So that's my favorite memory of her.
That's
And she's from Philly, so she don't have no emotions. But I knew she was secretly crying in the background or somewhere. So that's why too. That's my favorite.
You know, I feel like a lot of the successful coaches don't really show their emotions. Like I think of Tara, like she was not an emotional person at all. Like we never seen her too high, too low. Like she just always consistent. So I wonder if that's like a contributing factor that goes into being a successful coach.
I think so. I mean, they have it, but when you finally see them crack, it's like, yeah.
We've done it now. Yeah, I think I seen Tara crack like towards the end of my senior season, like the emotion that she showed, like she's going out, like doing little dances with us. Like it was something that we never seen before. And I think that when you start to get that coach that's always pretty like consistent, like when you be able to crack them a little bit, get them to smile, like that's when you know, like they really locked into this team.
Facts. And I think a lot of college coaches have been doing that this year. I mean, I've seen Gino a couple times dancing and laughing with his players. So
yeah, I would never expect. Gino is like stone cold.
Right? Hardcore, like, yeah. So it's good.
So, yeah, for sure. Next question. Favorite Under Armour shoe?
Ooh. Ty Harris PE. That player exclusive.
I don't think y'all understand how big of a flex that is to say that you have your own shoe and that's your favorite shoe. That's freaking tough.
And then also, I mean, South Carolina won national championships. A couple of players wearing it in the game. Like that's crazy to even think about too. So
that's big time, man. That's freaking tough. I completely forgot you had your own shoe, and man, hey, whenever you get time, I'm size 13. Man,
got you, Bernard.
That's what's up. Okay, next question. Best place to eat in Dallas?
Ooh.
Some barbecue, some Mexican.
So, I mean, we be on the go a lot. I haven't really had a good time to like find a spot yet, but I should find a spot. But I really like Mediterranean food. So, like after practice or anything like that, or after the game, I'll be trying to look up Luna Grill is what it's called, and I get like that rice and the chicken, fire, pita bread.
Fire. Okay, I'm not a big Mediterranean fan, but that sounds good. I'm sure there's some fans out there to be like, "Oh yeah, that sounds good." All right. And last question, I asked this question to Sierra Burdick. And somebody asked me this question, and I think it might be a continued question that I ask for the rest of the podcast because I think it's an absolute brilliant question. Okay, if you had an all-star team with your teammates that you played with at South Carolina, who would you choose? You can put yourself in the team as well. So 1 through 5, who are you choosing?
Me.
Okay, either one.
Yep.
Okay. Alicia Gray. Yep. 2.
Tiffany Mitchell.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah. There's a lot of wings that I could pick from. Oh, hold on, leave that third one out. We gonna
see. You know what? I'll give you a 6 player. I gave Sierra a 6 player, so I'll give you a 6 player.
Tiffany Mitchell. 4. Gotta get my dog Kiki. That's my
Kiki,
dog.
yes, Kiki.
Bye, Asia.
Mm-hmm.
And my sixth player, it has to go Leah Boston. Like I just gotta, we going big. We gotta get 7. I need another guard.
I'm gonna give you over because I'm loving this. This is a stacked team.
Another guard. Zaya Cook.
Who you got?
Zaya Cook.
Oh, Zaya, of course. Okay. Wow, that's an all-star team.
Yeah, that's a team right there.
That's an all-star. Sheesh, y'all gonna whoop on some people. I'm gonna keep asking this to other schools, and then fans, you gotta tell me who you think gonna win because stack-ups are tough.
Sure. All right. What's yours?
Okay, you guys didn't hear mine. Okay, so of course, it's for guards. It's always easier for guards to list like the guards and then the bigs, So me, I'm like thinking of my bigs, like who I want to do. Okay, for my one, I'm going with. Oh man, I went with Amber Orange. She played. Okay. You know who she is?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, she's from Texas. Played my freshman and sophomore year. So number 2, I'm gonna go with probably Brianna Roberson. She's from Cali. We played together. Absolute amazing leader, directs, can shoot, dimes. So I'm going with her. 3, best shooter I ever played with, Carla Samuelson. Absolutely. Samuelson's, you know what they're going to do. Right. They always going to deliver. Like every time I know Carla's going to shoot, it's going to go in. Right. For me, got to be 5, Shanae McKay, of course. When I played with her, she was the best player in the nation. Like no one could stop her. So absolutely, I would go with that. And my 6th man, I think I'm going to go with Lily Thompson. I really enjoyed playing with her. She's a really good guard. Really good. She did finish up with us, but I enjoyed my time playing with her. And she was like one of, the best guards freshman year.
She ended up Notre Dame?
Yep, finished up at Notre Dame. Yep. So she ended up getting a national championship there. So I got to have a national champion on my team because we couldn't get one.
Of course, you got to get the vibes, manifest.
We manifested for, the team that got it, with Haley and Fran and all them. We manifested. I felt like that was my championship. So
as you should.
Yeah, absolutely. So
like what Dawn does, like after we won it my freshman year, she gave like all like the players from Temple those days, Temple
with Candace Dupree, yep.
And in South Carolina when she first got there, all them players a replica of the trophy.
I seen that because Candace had one. She was, and so I'm waiting on Tara. I'm waiting on my championship trophy, Tara. We was all part of that. You can get one for like 20 years. So right. We was all part of that grind, that build up. So we'll see. Maybe she'll offer me a job instead. I'll take that. We'll see. Well, those are some dope questions. Did you enjoy them?
You said what?
Those are some dope questions. Did you enjoy them?
I did.
Did they stimulate your mind?
They did.
Good. That's what I always go for. Just lightheartedness. Okay. Let's get into the interview. Let's start off with your college career, your senior season. Just take us through what that looked like, and then take us really all the way till the draft, because you guys had a crazy last year with the pandemic and having to go through all that. So just kind of walk us through how that season went for y'all.
Yeah, so let's go, we can go all the way back to the end of junior year, because that's where a lot of things started. Mm-hmm. I had a team, obviously junior year. A lot of people transferred that year. And by this time, the people that transfer, I would be the only freshman class, the only person in my freshman class to stay there all 4 years, basically, out of 5. So these was girls that we grew up with. I mean, we had once we lived in a quad for 2 years. So these are my sisters basically, and they're just all transferring away, transferring. Besides one, Kiki, and she's been there for my 3 years or whatever, 4 years, 3 years. And she ended up deciding to transfer and put her name in the portal. So that was like my biggest like road dog. Like that was my, that's who I did everything with. So when she decided to do that, I was like really sad and hurt about it because it was like, dang, like who am I gonna hang out with now? Like we have a freshman class coming in, and me and Kiki just did everything together basically. So that really was like a heartbreaker. So then she left for a little bit. I mean, we continued to do our preseason workouts, obviously. And the coaching staff was just like all on my side, just make sure I was good emotionally and whatnot. And then Kiki actually ended up coming back, which made it better. So my senior year already started off better just from that one little part, because like that was my dog or whatever, and she decided to come back. And now we have this superstar freshman class coming in. I mean, they were ranked number 1. So it was already a lot of big expectations for them. And for us, it was like seniors, we're leaving, we know what to do. We won our national championship as freshmen. So it was kind of us being like the mamas at this time. And I've never been like, that's a different change.
It's a big role.
And because I was always a young player, so like I was always one of the youngest. So now that I was one of the oldest, it was like crazy. Like you just get this different on your shoulders,
I feel you.
So we start the season. We're doing pretty good, I think. We had a lot of adversity, just trying to get the freshmen, calm down a little bit. They feeling themselves. They're top ranked high school. They got player of the year. They got a little swag to them. They got that clout, they got a little all that going on. So we had to calm a little bit so we can get them to that standard. I feel like all top college teams have that standard that you don't really get in high school. And once you get to college, you start feeling that. So we had to get all that cleared away. We had a lot of team meetings, 4 hours, 5 hour long meetings, just trying to get to the grit and grind of everybody knowing each other. And then I think we started off really good, actually. I mean, we had a Thanksgiving tournament in, the Virgin Islands. And we ended up losing to Indiana.
Wow.
The first game there, yes, Indiana, the first game there. Up winning the next 2 games, and one of the games was to beat Baylor for the championship. So that was like really good because they beat us last year in the dance, I believe, and they kind of smacked us. Like they were like, I think they smacked us by like 30 something. So it was kind of like a good little revenge to get the bag, a good little start to the season. But now we're ripping and rolling. I mean, we're winning a lot. Everything's looking good. We're the #1 team in the nation. Me personally, coming into the senior year, I was already on the fence. You know how you feel like I got to worry about the draft, my mock draft, about to leave. Right, I'm about to go to the WNBA. That's a different grind, different type of game.
Pressure,
Right, but I'm still trying to enjoy my senior year because you don't get college back. So I was on the fence with that. I was battling with that and just battling with trying to raise my stock at the time because going into my senior year, I think I was at USA actually, and we were looking at all our stocks and stuff like that, the mock draft, and they had me third round, second to last. So coming in, I'm seeing those mock drafts. I'm like, dang, like I gotta.
Is it something that you were like constantly looking at, like every week or something, like seeing if your stock's going up each game, or were you just trying to ignore it and some people would tell you, or you would see it like on Twitter or something?
It would be more so like I would see it on Twitter or people and stuff like that. So it wasn't like I was looking at it like every week. I wasn't pressed like that, but like it was still in the back of my head. Like it was obvious. Social media is big, and it's my last year, so everybody's gonna start talking about it. So battling with that, I was just like, I guess I just gotta be more aggressive, come out here and show what I can do. And sometimes when you're pressing like that, it doesn't always work out for the best. You let the stuff go with the flow. And that's what my assistant coach, Coach Boyer, told me. Like, she was always in my ear. She was like, if I had a bad game and I'll get super down about it, she'll just be like, Ty, like, we've spoken to coaches in the league already. Like, they know what you can do. They know what it is with you. You're on a championship standard team. Like, they know what comes with you. It's okay. Just play free. Just worry about your senior year and let tomorrow take care of itself. So that really helped me a lot, just knowing that like there's actual evidence like that I'm one of the top coaches on the top draft board wants me. So after that, I let everything go, and that's when I started to play better actually, and was rocking and rolling. And like I said, we was number one. We just won our SEC championship tournament. We got 4 or 5 days spring break. Everything was going good. Not draft going up. Like it could best one in the world right now.
Yeah.
Like the champions, SEC tournament. My mock draft stock's going up. Pro coaches is calling. Mm-hmm. We spring break. We get a break before we start March Madness. That's when life hit me. Come back. So I'm at home chilling, got probably about a small suitcase, 1 week worth of clothes, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm only 4 days, so I thought. Boom. It hit Rudy Gobert. And Twitter. COVID. Got other people sick. Now, I forget what this is the first thing I saw that like canceled their stuff. I want to say like, I don't even know what, but one sport canceled their whole season. So I'm like, whoa, like this is serious. Yeah. Like, this is not like the flu. Like, this is serious. Like, so every day, every minute, something's getting tweeted out. This is canceled. The NBA season's canceled. So now I'm like, oh, Lord.
Yeah, because the NBA run everything. So once they got canceled, it was, oh my gosh, shoot, it's a wrap.
We're in a group chat and we're just texting like, what if they cancel the March Madness? We're like, what's going to happen? It was the last day before I had, like the night before the next day I had to leave. So getting packed, I'm packing my stuff up, getting ready to, in the morning, get on the flight.
Yeah.
That night is when they canceled March Madness, and Don texted the group chat and was just like, sorry to our seniors. She said a lot more, but like basically the seniors, and stay home because the university shut down. So now I only have 1 week, 7 days worth of clothes. Probably not even that. Probably some like, and like, so I'm like, whoa. What? Now it's like, okay, that's over. It took me probably like 2 or 3 days for like it really to set in and then be like, it's over. Your senior year is done. Like, there's no closure. I didn't get to see my teammates, my coaching staff, like the fans. We were supposed to come back in a week and play first round NCAA tournament in our home, like court. So that was going to be our last time playing. I mean, we had senior night, but we had like another chance to play at home. So that was ruined. Like there was no closure from anything. Don't have any of my stuff. It's all at like South Carolina. So it took me 3 days because that's all we really had. Because next up was the draft.
Yeah.
You know how women's basketball is. Everything is boom, 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 boom. Like no break at it. So I had to put that aside. The college closed that chapter, send my little tweet, close that chapter without really or saying really goodbye to anybody physically, and get ready for the draft. And that came with trying to figure out what are we going to do for the draft since everything shut down.
Let's pause right there because that was so much to unpack in this. That was a dope story, by the way. One, let's talk about just the expectations that you guys had with South Carolina. One, with yourself, and two, with the team. And now everybody says that South Carolina was going to win the championship. Sabrina Ionescu had other opinions. She said Oregon was going to win.
Yeah.
I'm sure Stanford said they was going to win.
Right.
Break it down for me. Do y'all truly think that y'all was going to win the championship?
Wholeheartedly, we do. I do. The team did. I think we were playing our best basketball at the time. Everything was meshing together. I mean, we were number one. We had one of the hardest schedules with being number one, playing top 10 teams day in and day out. I mean, SEC is one of the best. I feel like, yeah, I can say Pac-12 is too.
I'm always going right with the Pac-12 for sure.
Is one, like, I mean, all Power 5 conferences are just tough as it is. So I think we were gonna win. I mean, we would rock and roll. I think it would have been a really good game.
Do you think it'd been y'all in Oregon?
But that's the thing. Mm-hmm. Baylor was also really good too.
Mm-hmm. Who did Baylor have? Who was on that Baylor team?
You had Taya Cooper, Nalissa Smith,
right.
Lauren Cox,
Yep. And they had just had won the year before that. Yep. Okay.
Yep. So they was coming off that high.
Forgot about them. Yeah.
The coach, like, come on. So I think that's how the Final Four would have matched it. It would have been Baylor versus Oregon and us, I think, versus Louisville, probably.
Okay. Yep.
For whoever made it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I mean, y'all had a stacked team.
Yeah,
it was stacked.
Like Oregon is always Oregon or South Carolina. Oregon or South Carolina. Yep. Players. Oregon did have great players, but I think Baylor would have gave them run. What is the phrase?
Run for their money.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, this is great because I think it's taking a lot of fans back to that expectations of what we were all looking forward to, in the Final Four, in the NCAA tournament, was seeing, really, I was looking forward to y'all's matchup, which was Oregon and South Carolina. And I thought it was going to be, a freaking death match. And it just freaking sucks that we didn't have an opportunity to see that. And so it's just all of what ifs and what could have been. But freaking life happens. We all had to stop. We all had to stop there and just sit. So what was your mindset? Because in that point in time, I think no one really knew what was going to happen with the draft, what was going to happen with the W, because they had canceled, the men's season. So what was your mindset going into you finishing school and just kind of just not knowing what was going to happen?
Yeah. So thankfully, my senior year was actually pretty easily. Shout out to my academic advisor, Xavier. From day one, my freshman year was tough. I had a lot of classes that the other freshmen didn't. So I'm thinking what's good? But he always by your senior year, you're probably not gonna be doing nothing. And that's how it was. My senior year was like a replica of pros. Like I had one internship that I had to do, and other than that, it was just working out. It didn't have to go to study hall no more. So working out, weights, didn't have classes, practice, and just chilling, and then doing my internship, typing papers, and that. So my senior year, school-wise, was easy breezy. So thank God for that.
I want a lot of players to recognize in college that I think there's a lot of players, seniors going into the pros or, about to go in, and they're like swamped. They still doing school. Yeah. And I want people to recognize, if you have the dream and, the aspirations to go into the league, really set yourself up academically, because you don't want all that pressure going into the draft. You trying to get drafted, get buckets, trying to learn plays, and you still in school trying to freaking, get finals done.
Right.
So, it does make your academic schedule more rigorous, but in the back, in the long run, it makes everything so much easier. So I just wanted to point that out.
No, for sure. But so I didn't really have to think too much about school because I got that done out the way. But it was just more so not knowing what are we going to do? Everybody looking on social media, seeing what's the new fact about COVID. Mm. And so it really just puts you in that being present moment. Everybody talks about it now, just don't look too much into the future or in the past, but that really put a hold on life because everything was shut down now. You had to literally go back to the basics. And that's just, for me, it was learning myself. I read books. I've never ate so many family meals at the dinner table with my family over the course of my life. And now in one little year or a couple months, I've surpassed that. That's crazy. I had so much time, family time. We even made family game nights on Sundays and Mondays just to fill in time. So that was neat. And at first my mindset was I'm mad. I'm just real mad because why me? Why can I not finish my year? How if I didn't win the championship, like my stock would have been higher. Like it was always that in the back of my head. Like, dang, like I was mad. But then over time I was like, there's always a lesson behind everything. And there's always something greater good that comes out of something, like out of the dark. So then I started feeling more easy about things, and I'm talking to, teams, and I'm just working out. But that's another thing. That's another obstacle that we had to overcome because gyms will close, stores will close.
Yes.
So, like I said,
how were you working out?
Yeah, that's what I said. When I went back to the basic, it was literally running hills, running outside.
Y'all, okay, I ran the hill that she ran. I went to Indiana. I went to visit Ty. I went to visit, some of my Indiana friends. Yes. And I ran that hill that she's referring to. And it is no joke. I literally thought I was going to pass out. I thought I was going to throw up.
Yeah, it's not even a hill. We like to call it a mountain because that's what it is at this point.
It's a mountain, truly.
It's state now. So like I said, running hills, I was fortunate enough to have a friend who had a half-court basement, a basketball court in their basement. So that was good. So we used that. And that's another thing going back to basic, because it wasn't like a real half court, but it was like enough to get shots up, like, and it was like a 3-point line, but you might be towing. So like we worked on a lot of mid-range stuff, a lot of stuff that I can incorporate now because mid-range is a lost art in basketball thing. So like that's a lesson that I can learn out of just getting with things I had, and then running miles. And I mean, that's really about it. Like, just trying to stay in shape and then doing those Zoom meetings with the teams and auditioning, I guess you want to call it that.
Yeah. So you had to do Zoom. So that was the new thing because Zoom was like just popping when I was in school. Right. They were just calling us and stuff. So now Zoom is popping. So y'all was doing like face-to-face meetings with the coaches. Was that like intimidating? Because I can imagine. I was scared just talking to Coach Tebow, on the phone. Right. So I can imagine having to see someone face-to-face with, the head coach and GM.
Yeah, no, it was a little intimidating because it's just like they're all looking at you. They're all like I said, your audition. It's like your interview. In college, you had control. You can pick and choose what you want to talk about. The college coaches are auditioning for you. But now it's back to the basics. Like now you're auditioning for your spot or your job, So it was a little intimidating, but it was also cool just to see the process and get the feel for a lot of different coaches and WNBA teams.
Yeah.
But
what tips would you give a rookie about to go in, about to talk to some, some lead coaches? I know when my coach for Coach Tebow, he called me. I was in the car driving back like home from Stanford, and the connection was going back. I bombed my interview. So what? And Washington surely did not draft me that year. So what tips would you give someone, about to get drafted? Coaches are calling them. What would you say that they need to do to prepare for these type of interviews?
Yeah, I would just say be enthusiastic about it. I feel like be enthusiastic, but also be authentic. Like, as much as it is interviewing, they're also trying to see who you are personally because they already know what you can do basketball wise. So it's not more so what you can do, your talents on the court, but it's more so how would you fit in with the team. So they have to see that personality and be honest, I feel like, because there's times where I feel like things can get misconstrued and you want one thing and they might want another thing. And if you don't tell them that that's what it is and you get drafted to that team, it's not going to work out in the long run. So I feel like being honest and just open-minded and just being enthusiastic with everything is the best advice I have.
Yeah, for sure. Another piece of advice would be to watch the league, because they're going to ask you some questions about some players.
Yeah.
And Coach Tebow asked me, he said, whose game do you resemble the most? Oh, right. I don't really know. Really, all I knew is Candace Dupree,
right.
Her and my sister were together at the time. So I'm so accustomed to watching Phoenix and her. She was the first person to jump my head. I knew she was a 4-player. Me and Candace game, no, we don't resemble each other. But I'm like, I think like Candace Dupree, she's another 4-player, has a nice, little jump shot. And
gotta leave it vague. So you
room for the interpretation. But no, really, y'all, like really watch the game, study the game, because this is what you're gonna be competing against, what you're gonna be seeing. I know as a point guard, you probably watch the game in and out, but like for those who don't, like coaches are looking for that. And they're seeing if you watch the game, because basketball IQ is so important. It's so such a big part of the league. And that's what allows you to stay in the league, I think, is having a good basketball IQ.
I think so too. I mean, obviously talent is something that you need, but I feel like there's room for other things. I mean, sometimes you just need a great role player. Sometimes you need a great teammate or a person who knows the X and O's and IQs. Like there's room for a lot of different people. And like you said, IQ is just a really big thing. And if you're not investing in a job that you're about to be in, it's kind of weird. It throws the coaches off. It's like, how are you not watching the league and you want to be in the league? Like, that's like taking a test and not studying for it, kind of like, what? Here's your answers. We have an answer key. Why are you not looking at it type? So I think that's a big thing too. That good thing you pointed out.
Yeah, I think we sound like old timers now. Like,
right.
These players ain't even watching the game.
Right.
They want to be in the league, not even watching the game. But it's the truth. Like, I wish I would have watched the game more. I had a sister that played, so I watched the game through her, but I really wish that I would have taken more time out to watch other teams and just really study the game, being able to study, players that resemble, players like me. Like, I wish I would have seen Tina Charles playing when I was in the league. I mean, our games aren't as similar, but I just admire how she takes her time, how she's just so poised in the paint. And that's always what I wanted to be like. So I wish more players would get that. And if you're listening in, I'm hoping there's some young people listening to the pod. Listen to the old timers here. We the OGs right now. We OGs in this game. So listen in. Okay, let's kind of change footing into Dallas today.
Yep.
You've been there's your third season there with them. And there's definitely been some changes, but have you seen an evolution with the team and an evolution with your game yourself?
Yeah, so with the team, I think we are growing in the right way. I mean, when I first got to the WNBA my rookie season, we started in the bubble. So like, it's really weird because I really haven't had a regular WNBA season yet. I mean, this is the closest one to it, but it's still like compact a little bit. So I haven't really have a real WNBA season. I mean, like I said, my rookie year in the bubble, that was just different as a sub. It was okay with me because I just came from college. Like I felt like I was bubble. Like I only went around my parameters that I always stayed around. It was already fine with me.
Yeah.
But then my second year, we finally get to travel a little bit, but that's when we had a new coach. So like another adjustment.
Yep.
And then my third year now, I think this is kind of like the turning point because we had one, we're out the bubble.
Yep.
So that's another thing. And then now this is our second year with Vicky. And I think we just now know each other a lot more. And we know what she wants from us and she knows about us more. And I think, like I said, it's just a turning point. We're growing. You can just see the growth of just when we have adversity in the games. And usually the old Dallas would have just crumbled and just fumbled the bag. But now I feel like now we're trying to overcome that adversity throughout games, runs. And you can see it just in our play and just some of the games we play now. And I think we hit another adversity right now, but I think that we hit that standard now where we can overcome anything and find the best through it all. So it's going really well right now, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys are an older group now. You guys started off really young, a lot of rookies.
Yeah.
You guys drafted a lot of rookies. Dallas is known for drafting a lot of rookies. So you guys drafted a lot of rookies. So going in, y'all were young and just didn't have the experience to be able to know what to do to, to handle that adversity. But now you guys are an older team. You guys are getting better and better. And, although you guys are still in the midst of adversity, I still think you guys have the absolute ability to make playoffs and make a pretty good run in there.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing y'all play. I love watching you play. You're the floor general.
Yeah.
You make things happen. You get it done and you're so poised. And that's, a large part of what I admire about your game is how poised that you are.
Appreciate it, Birdie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I've always wanted to ask you this question. I guess I wanted to ask you this question in my first podcast when your rookie season, but that was all with the bubble, and that happened like crazy. But coming from college, you played from South Carolina, where you had like 18,000 fans. Y'all flew private, y'all food, whatever you wanted, going to restaurants. I think y'all went to Ruth Chris or whatever. Y'all was getting what you want. I didn't even know what Ruth Chris was till my third year in the league. We was eating hotel food at Stanford. But like, what was that adjustment like? Because when you come to the league, you fly in commercial, fans, that number drops drastically. You got to get your own food, all with your own money. So what was that like? Because I think a lot of rookies are adjusting to that now. For me at Stanford, we were treated like regular class citizens. So it was really easy for me to adjust. We flew commercial, we had hotel food, and it was just, I was used to getting in the league. Everything was used to me. But for you, what was that like?
No, it was definitely a shock. I mean, you work all your life, like, to get to this point, to be in the best league in the world, and to see it gets treated less than my previous stage of basketball. That's weird to me. Like, you feel like every stage of basketball, it should go up. Everything should get better, blah, 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 blah. I mean, being a pro definitely has its perks. I mean, I do love the independence of it all. I'm a homebody. I do a lot of stuff by myself. So I love just the fact that you are now in control of, your future. Like, honestly, what you eat, there's not a nutritionist. It's not your trainers watching you pick out your food while you go to the, food court or whatever. Now it's like up to you. Like, you have to do that. Like, you have to cook sometimes if it's too late, or you have to DoorDash something, but make a good, healthy decision on DoorDash. Like, it's up on you. So I like that part about it. And also the fact when you do fly and go to different cities and stuff, like, they're not always watching you at South Carolina. I got to tell this. Sorry if this affects some recruits. I don't think she do it anymore. But Dawn controlled our social media. So we didn't have no social media at Carolina. She also didn't allow us to have phones, like, on game days or the night before game day. So she at home and away. So home game.
So was she coming to y'all apartment and knocking on the door and say, give it up?
We had one of the other coaches come and like the captain. So I would have to text them, like, if it's a late game, 11 o'clock, need y'all phones. They all bring it down. I bring it down to her, and that's the night. Like, you go.
So how are y'all setting your alarms with the hotel alarms?
iPad.
Oh, with the iPad. Okay.
They had other stuff. So that was our argument. We don't have Apple products. Like, why are you taking our phones? But whatever. So secret, and here's a little secret. Donna already knows this too, so it's not really a secret. We also did towards the end of our college careers have second phones. So we're turning in fake phones. Like, come on now, we're over this phone stuff. So, like,
come on, Kevin Gates.
If broke phones, we might have an iPhone 5 just throw in there. Like, just don't care anymore. Like, everybody has iPhone 11s out here. But yes, so that just the independence is great. And like I said, you don't have to stay at the hotel. You can go off and wander and do what grown folks do. Do what grown women do. But like I said, we did have 18,000 fans. We had the number one nation in attendance for the last 4 years. So that our fans is crazy. It's amazing. South Carolina Gamecock fans are ride or die. You already know what Muffin, so ride or die.
I've been attacked by some South Carolina fans, and I didn't think I even said anything bad.
Don't tell you nothing about South Carolina.
You gotta start putting the asterisks and things, You
gotta explain yourself, and you're gonna have a comment about South Carolina basketball now. So yes, the fans flying private charter flights. I miss it. It was a shock. I was like,
culture shock.
What? Like, we gotta go and stand with all these people as a pro. Like, Candace Parker is walking through the airport. Anybody can come and talk to us. That's weird. Like, what? I gotta have a limit on my suitcase, like 50 pounds. Like,
y'all didn't have limits on your suitcases at South Carolina?
What do you mean? It's chartered.
Right.
You pack whatever you want, whatever food you have, whatever drinks, blankets, whatever bottles of lotion this big. Check your bag, put it on a plane, and go to your seat. What? There's no checking our bags. check your bag. Where? I'm not checking my bag.
I feel like I am.
Bird, this is literally, I'm not even gonna hold you. It was so like it got to a point where it's like if we're about to leave to go to a different city, obviously, we practice in the morning, and then you get to shower, do whatever you got to do, and then like in an hour they have our food like at the gym, waiting for us to get on the bus to go to the airport, like Texas Roadhouse, like tropical smoothie, like whatever you really wanted. Honestly, whatever we got to choose.
And I am in complete shock. This is amazing.
You choose that meal, and then you choose the meal that we're gonna have when we get to that city. Because usually we eat out when we get there. So like once we arrive to, I don't know, just say we arrive to Stanford, we're eating at a restaurant, a nice restaurant that night, like with the team. So we already got that nice steaks, I mean, whatever you want. You know?
So when you pull up the food, are you ready?
Yeah, when we pull up,
you don't even wait. Oh,
we good. Drop off your bags. Everybody get back on the bus. Go to the thing. You don't even gotta order. They already know. They be like, Ty, here's your food. Kiki, here's your food. You know,
this is amazing. You know what we were doing on the way to an away trip? We were guessing spaghetti tonight, taco night. It's got to be taco night tonight. Got to be chicken and green beans. It's got to be chicken. And we had the same meal every single pregame. The same exact meal. Yeah. You had that too? Okay.
Those, you know, the broccoli.
The usual, yeah.
Pasta, chicken. Yeah. You know, yeah, sure.
See, me coming to the league, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm used to this. For y'all, I bet you were just like, this is
crazy.
Ooh, child, the ghetto.
Yeah. And then everybody's all happy, like, you get to have your own space, like your own hotel room. I'm like, y'all shared as adults? Y'all shared?
Yes. Yes, I did. For 3 years.
But that's another thing too, though. I came in the league kind of at a perfect time when we had the new CBA.
The new CBA did change, yes.
Yeah, so it was better. I mean, obviously there's still work to do, but it was better than the others we're getting into. I mean, at that time as a rookie, I was getting paid more than Enrique Gumorle.
Wow.
Our superstar. So like, it's crazy how much the CBA can do. That's why, like you said, like young women now who wants to play in the league, you need to start watching and investing your time and figure out what's going on in WNBA so you can be that voice once you get there. Because there's a lot that needs to change and there's a lot that has changed. But like I said, still there's a lot that needs to change and you can change it because everybody's looking at like women's basketball is a hot topic now and everybody's so get on that quick.
Please, I need y'all to tell them to change the overseas rule, please. You know, I was talking that with my agent, Mike County. If we come in even a day late, we get fined or we can't even participate in the league. And so I need these young ones to come in and demand change. But that's the thing now. Even now with NIL, which you missed out on as well, which you could have got paid big dollars.
Right.
They come in. I don't even know if people want to play overseas now because they making bands. They making 5 times more than I would ever make in the league because they just got deals on deals on deals, and that's just another part of the game that's evolving women's basketball. Because women's basketball that's probably one of the biggest commodities for NIL.
Right.
And I don't even know if we're gonna see players want to go overseas because why would they? I'm getting paid 5 times more I can get paid going overseas and be able to work out, be with my family, eat what I want to eat.
Right.
So
no. It is. It's a sad and good thing. It's bad.
And I think that's what the league is all about. It comes with its highs and its lows.
Definitely.
You get paid, to do what you love in the best league, play, in front of your family. But then you got, the things like we have to do, such as flying commercial, and you're not getting as paid as we could, playing overseas. Right. So it's highs and lows to this game. But if you love it, it's all worth it.
And I think that's just the biggest thing about women basketball now. It's like all the sacrifices we do have to do as women, even if like some have kids.
Yep.
And we still got to go through this. And
the one has twins.
Right. Still is overseas. Like something happened, and that just goes to show Zaire, Bubba.
She's got a little pup in the background.
So, like, we love this game, and that's why people should watch it and invest.
Yes.
It's not a us. I mean, obviously we do this job for money, but like we love it. We want to see change, and that's why we're doing it, and that's why it's so fun, and that's why people should watch it.
Super dope. Absolutely. And another part of this game are being able to capitalize on the brands. And you got a shoe deal with Under Armour, one of the only, I don't know if some of the rookies came in have Under Armour deals, or if you're the only one now. Are you the only one person?
That I think Bella and Kyla Charles still have are under Armour. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my rookie year, that was the first time they got started with
women's. So what was that like? Because a lot of fans want to know like what it takes to get a shoe deal. What's that all about? I had one really based off of a favor. So I know I went that big time, where it was like, we need Eric McCall on our roster, but for you were one of the first. So how did that all come about?
Well, yeah, South Carolina, we were already Under Armour, so it was kind of like a given. Why not Armour? Coming in though, like I said, with the draft, that's another thing that we were having Zoom meetings with. Picking an agent was another thing. Got to pick an agent, team, and then finding endorsements. Because with my agent, that was the biggest thing that we talked about is getting revenue off the court.
Yep.
I don't want my WNBA money being my only source of income. So we were trying to figure out endorsements and what I liked and branding myself basically. And he reached out to Under Armour, but they were actually trying to find out who my agent was. So they were trying to look for me too. So it was kind of like, and I mean, everybody likes Nike, everybody likes all the others, but with Under Armour, I felt like I said, I've been with Under Armour for 4 years with South Carolina, and they were new to the scene. I'm always about new. I don't like to follow a crowd, and I always want to be like first with something different. So I was like, why not? And they are been amazing. I mean, as a rookie in 2 years, I've had my PE, my player exclusive shoe, and I've been on a commercial. I've been on a national commercial. So
I've seen you. It's so amazing. We're like, yo, that's my friend. Yo, let me see her.
Right. So it's been amazing. And they ask a lot of input about the women's basketball shoe that they're trying to create now. So I've been like kind of creating and help designing these shoes and putting my input. So it's been amazing with Under Armour.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think a lot of people, even I won't say certain brand names, but with certain brands, it's really just you get the shoe and the gear that you want, and that's kind of it. But for you to be able to just be a part of the creative scene and being able to really just put your input in is really cool. And it's really cool for Under Armour to really bring y'all in and put women's basketball, at the forefront of what they're trying to do to build their brand.
For sure. Shout out to Under Armour.
Yeah, shout out to Under Armour. Need more athletes. Well, let's transition into kind of the last segment of this interview, and let's just talk about overseas and what you had to experience with that. So you just finished playing with Russia, or in Russia with Nika. Is that how you pronounce it? Nika. Nika. Just kind of talk us through that season, and it ended up being kind of a crazy one, the way you can, kind of had to leave suddenly because the war was getting started in Russia. So just kind of walk us through, how that all came about.
Yeah. So, I mean, Russia is one of the biggest, overseas market for a lot of players. This is a fairly new team, so not a lot of people knew about it. I knew Bree Turner played on that team last year, year before, and it was a new team. So I don't know. I just was like, yeah, let's do it. Russia, it was completely different from Turkey, for one, where I started off. Russia was cold as it is advertised. Nika was in a city that is fairly small and didn't have a lot of things to do, but I'm a homebody, so that didn't really bother me, But It was good. It was a good experience just being over there, finding myself. It was, like I said, it was different because it got dark, like pitch black dark around 3 p.m. every night. So daylight was already short, and so it just got dark. And, you know, sometimes darkness can lead to other different things like depression and stuff. But like, with me, I feel like, and me being alone, I feel like this is my time to learn myself and learn more about me. And that's what I took accountability when I did have my time in Russia, was just reading books, you know, trying to get on my P's and Q's with off the court stuff and focusing on that. Cause I mean, there is a lot of on the court stuff you got to do. Like with Russia, we did have 2 days. So like, and we were playing basketball a lot, but we also did have a lot of downtime too. So it was just balancing both and just finding myself and trying to find new recipes to cook and stuff like that.
That's what overseas is all about. You just really breaking down the overseas. You find things to do. All
right.
Let me see what this podcast is about. Let me read. Right. Hey, you go on Pinterest. Like, oh, let me check that out.
Right. Honestly, it could be like a start of something, like something that you didn't know come about yourself, because you have so much time just to figure out like what you like, what you want to do, and what you might not like. So overseas is good. It has its perks for sure.
Yes, I love to hear that. I love hearing saying, you know, they enjoy overseas, even though there's some craziness that comes along with it that I'm sure you'll talk about in a second. But there are some good things that come out of playing overseas.
But like, without that being said, season's going. We're wrapping up Euro Cup. We play a Euro Cup team, Lyon, in France, and I was hit with a COVID. They tested me, and mind you, every country has different protocols with COVID. That's already crazy as this. Every time you got to fly, but luckily, like I said, fortunate enough, my team did have charter, so we flew. We charter sometimes to longer trips. So that's the thing about it. But you still had a test there, and one of the days, I want to say 2 days before the game, the Euro Cup game, I tested positive. So I was like, and we needed to win this game because we were 1-1 already. Like, we played them at home and they beat us. So like, we had to win this by whatever point difference. Yeah. So like, it was big. And when they tested positive, I'm like, I don't have no symptoms. Like, it has to be false. Like, it literally has to be false. And I just really had COVID maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks before then. So it was kind of antibodies, which I knew. But like, a false is a false to them. And obviously they don't want American to play. So like, that was great news for them basically. Yeah. So like, they weren't really trying to help. But like, I ended up taking another test, and that was negative. And then I took another test, was negative. So by the time the game time come, I was waiting for my results because like we were still waiting for that second negative. Yep. When the game time come, one of my other teammates said she tested positive. So I was like, whoa. And then 3 other people, all our results came back, and 3 other people tested positive. And I was positive again. After I just got a negative. So I was like, what the heck? Yeah. So like, all that was weird. And this was like, it was game day. Like, we were about to bus to the gym and play the game. So this was all happening 4 hours before the game or whatever. And so we had to call off that game because like, we didn't have enough players because we all whatever. And so they just let us go home because it was also going to be the national team break. And so I was happy about that. So I was like, no, I don't have COVID. Sending me home, and now we have a longer national team break. Like, like, I'm cool. I get to go home for like a lot longer. But then we had to come back. So I come back. Now, mind you, I've had like maybe 4 breaks, like, because on some like COVID and national team break stuff. So 4 breaks. So the first time I came back, it was only 10 days. We had Euro Cup, and then they let us go home early. So now I'm home for another like couple weeks. Then I go back. I've only been in Russia for 10 days again. And that's when the war stuff started happening. So I'm just flying back and forth at this point, taking 2 weeks at Russia. Like, who does that?
Yeah, because that's, for people who don't know, 4 breaks is a lot of breaks. Like, you might just get one for like 5 days for Christmas, if that country celebrates Christmas, or for like the February break. But that's it. And
that's different for every country, because some countries, like you said, Turkey doesn't celebrate Christmas. So you break. And that's another thing why I like Russia too, because like I was like, finally I get a Christmas break. So I was like, got my Christmas break, got all those other breaks. So I was happy to be going home as well.
Yeah.
So when I came back, all the war stuff happening, and that really took a toll because nothing was happening in my city. Like, it wasn't bombings, it wasn't planes flying over. Like, the city was normal. It was cool. It was just like a regular normal day, but it was all the outside noise that, because your family's back at home. USA is reporting this. Russia is reporting this. You're seeing all the news and all the bans that USA is having on stuff like that. You're seeing Americans getting kidnapped and stuff like that. So like that plays a toll, and you're in a whole different world. Like, I'm 18 hours of flight wise away from my home.
Yeah.
I'm 23 years old. Like, this is weird. I look different from everybody in here. Everybody knows I look different. Like, so you get in that toll, and then my parents are like, you need to come home. You need to come home. But like, at the end of the day, this is my job. I signed a contract. So I also have an obligation with my job. So I was battling with, my family wanted me to come home, but I really wanted to stay, you know, to fulfill my job and stuff like that. So it got to a point where like, it was just a lot of talking. I was asking my team, like, what's happening? Like, what's really going on? And they were just like, oh, nothing. Like, and then you got like, oh, it's nothing. Nothing's wrong. We have your bag. If anything does go wrong, we'll just fly you out. Like, it's like, but can I really believe you guys? Like, you guys live here. So like, I understand why you guys are not making a big deal because you guys live here, but like, we live somewhere else completely. And so like, they're like, oh, it's nothing. But luckily I did have Azrae Stevens, who plays on Chicago, on my team too. So we were there texting all the time, like, hey, like, what's your agent saying? What is your agent saying? What is Vandersloot and all them and UMMC saying? Like, what is saying? So then I started texting Enrique and Piff and all them to see, because like, just other Americans in Russia, they're doing and like what they've been hearing. We're getting emails from the U.S. security like office,
like the embassy,
like telling us it's like a level 4, do not travel to Russia. And like, we're in Russia. Like, what do you mean do not travel to Russia? And so like, the league is texting us saying just like, if you need anything, help us. And we're texting back like, tell us like, it's time to go home. Like, we'll be So like, I'm just waiting for like an official something to tell us like, leave, so we can get out our contract basically. Because that's a whole different world that people don't understand. Contracts overseas is very complicated and a lot. It could definitely be a lot. So like I said, when I say fulfilling your job, that's also comes down to contracts basically. So we had a game. After the game, the president wanted to talk to us and tell us like, everything's fine once again, because we're still freaking out, but we're still playing. We still have things to do. And he's like, everything's fine. If anything does happen, like, I'll just fly you on my private jet. We fly you to whatever, blah, 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 blah. So he's trying to calm our nerves, obviously. But we get home. Me and Azrae still texting. I mean, articles, my parents are sending me articles saying like, no Russian flights can land in any other countries. So I'm thinking like, how are you going to fly us out of here? Like, flights. Then we see a thing where it's like, not even charter flights can't leave. So I'm like, I'm screenshotting articles, sending it like our GM, like our Russian GM, sending it to our presidents, like, well, this says you can't do this. So like, what else what is your plan now? And they're all saying like, no, that's for the Putin people. Like, it's not for us. I'm just like, it's not looking too good here. Like, they're shutting credit cards down. Our credit cards are not working. Like, they're banning Netflix. They're banning Instagram. They're banning everything that America can use overseas, basically.
For like, you to allow to live,
to be able to function overseas. So I'm like, I understand we're safe here. This is what I told my GM. I was like, I understand we're safe here because they're not going to bomb Russia. It's a big, obviously. But it's so much, it's the outside of it. Like, I'm not able to allow me to be doing anything. Like, I would have to be an actual Russian citizen to do anything. I have no contact with my family, no nothing. Like, I have to understand Russia because I won't be able to watch Netflix because that's banned. Like, I will have nothing. So I'm telling him this, and he was like, okay. They finally was just like, they didn't really agree. That's the crazy part about it. They didn't really agree, but it got to the point where you had to ask myself, like I had to ask myself, how much is my life worth? Money in the world is worth my living, me breathing, and my family and stuff like that. So I just came to the point where Azrae, I text her like, yo, like, let's slide, let's go. And she was like, I got a flight, 7 a.m. Mind you, it's 3 a.m. right now. So I'm like, oh, really? I ain't got nothing packed. Mind you, I have 4 suitcases. I got nothing packed. I'm like, wow. So I'm like, I'm looking, I'm searching. I think this is when like they first bombed them or missiled them, and my parents and everybody, my agent, and this is when the WNBA actually contacted and was like, go home, like all Americans need to go home. So I was like, bet, there's the word. So it's 4 a.m. now. I'm packing all my stuff and trying to figure out what flight I'm about to take. Like, luckily though, praise God Almighty, won't He do it? My traveling experience was amazing. Like I got the best traveling experience. I mean, the airport was super duper crowded, but I still got like, everything was like steady, like boom,
smooth,
boom, boom. Even in the midst of all that chaos, and I thank God for all that. Like I flew to Moscow. We had to go to Istanbul because no other countries was taking Russian things. Flights were getting canceled left and right. Like there's a lot of people in the airport because Russia is not getting taken. Everybody's banned in Russia. Getting to, like, less amount of seats. Flights are getting canceled. Azrae she found her stuff and I found mine. And then we both ended up in Istanbul around the same time. We get to Istanbul, and the crazy part about that, like, flights are even longer because Ukraine is right in the middle of everything. So like we had to fly around it like a U.
So it was a longer trip.
Yeah, nobody's trying to fly through it. So we fly around and finally get to Istanbul. I mean, it still wasn't like a sigh of relief yet because we're still, but it was still out of Russia, you know? So me and Azrae meet up at Istanbul. She said she found a direct flight to Chicago. And I actually had a flight to Istanbul to New Amsterdam to Chicago to Indy. So mine was going to be a little longer. But she's like, I found a direct flight to Chicago and go straight there. And I'm like, bet, I'm about to cancel my and get this first class with hers. And as long as we on the same flight and all that, and it's direct, I was like, bet. So I did that. Luckily, I got my money back from the
hey.
See, like,
blessings.
Got my money back from the last flight. We got on this flight with her. We both first class. We made it. It was an 11-hour flight, but it was Turkish Airlines flights, first class.
They're really a nice airline. Yeah,
they're really nice. So like, flight was cool. We finally made it into Chicago. We tweeted, and we were just like home, like, because everybody's tweeting. Muffin was tweeting like, "Hope you get home safe." Like everybody, like, you know. So it was like once we landed in Chicago, it was like, whew.
Yeah, you can breathe. Thank God. Yeah. And did you know about the BG situation while in the midst of this, or this happened afterwards?
I think it was a couple of days afterwards when it came. I was like, because like I was in Russia and she plays on UMMC, who's also in Russia, and this happened so long ago. And I like, because we was gonna meet up with them again. I'm like, where's BG? Like, I was wondering like where she's at. Where, like, because nobody knew, like it wasn't out. But like then all that happened and then it came out and I was like, wow, she's been in there for a minute. Wow. And that's very unfortunate. Like it's very, 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 very unfortunate that in that at that time.
Yeah, I bet that just hits harder for you because you were there flying through Russian airports. You seen that whole process. So for you, I know that definitely is more intense, you know, to think about what she went through.
It definitely
or going through.
It's like I just went through those same security gates. That could have been me. It's sad for sure.
We're praying for BG. Ty, this has been amazing. You're an amazing guest. I just am filled with wisdom, filled with joy. And you had some freaking amazing stories. One of the best storytellers that we had on this podcast. So thank you. You've been amazing. Usually we ask guests what is their craziest overseas story, but I think you told it. But we'll say, do you have any crazy stories in Turkey?
Oh, I actually do. So once again, overseas, first year overseas, COVID. They're dealing with it too. So the city's on lockdown. Like all Turkish citizens can't be out from, I think you're only out from like 6 a.m. to maybe 7 or 6 a.m. That's just out. Other than that, city's on lockdown, everything's closed. Mind you, we have practice from 2 to 6:30ish. So like we're getting out of practice, like what am I supposed to eat? Now I have to have food at the house, but overseas food spoils quick, like
yes.
So it was a lot of that. And but one night, I forget why, I think me and Kiki and Lonnie wanted to go to the gym, and we were driving. It was after hours, obviously, but like the cops pulled us over. And so like cops overseas, they're different. Like they're carrying around AK-47s, like
intimidating, very intimidating. More than the American cop.
And we don't speak Turkish. So like we're just like we're using our phones like translating.
Merhaba. Yeah.
Like, secular, like
yeah.
So that was kind of crazy, just in the sense itself, because like they were trying to talk to us, like I don't know what you're saying. Like hold on, like by phone, text what we're trying to say or saying what we're, and then vice versa. But it all turned out good. They like once they know that you're American and you play basketball for them, they're now they're kind of have
yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, I just want to go. Like, but that was another crazy one. And literally can't drive. Turkey? Are you kidding me? No rules on the road. Merge.
I refuse to drive in Turkey. I drove Gloria Johnson's car once and never again.
I drove a lot, but it made me a terrible driver in the United States. Because the merging, the making your own lanes, just going.
Everybody honking. They honk at you for everything. Honking. They honk to say that they're merging. There's no signal. It's a honk to merge. It's too much.
It's not like, oh, I'm merging. I'm waiting, being like, wait till you pass and see if I have a room. It's merging. I'm merging now, so you better either go fast or scoot over or slow down. Like, no room.
That's Turkish driving. I'm blessed for my driver there and taxis, because I can do it. Please, I'll pay. I will not drive. I refuse to do that in Turkey. No way.
No, yeah, it's different.
But thank you, Ty. This was amazing. Where can we find you on all social media? Because the girlies like to keep up with you.
Yes, Instagram ballher_52, Twitter Ty_Harris52, or Ty Harris_52, one of those.
You'll find her. Ty Harris.
Yeah. Just type Tyasha Harris, Tyasha Harris, Harri. Boom.
Come on, government name. Well, thanks y'all for tuning in. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at birds_24. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at birdseyeView.podcast, Twitter, One Bird's Eye View. And once again, y'all, it's been another dope episode. Much blessings. Hope you guys have an amazing week. We out. Deuces.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.